Typically, if I record your mouse movements for 60 seconds, your typing rhythm for 2 sentences, and your scroll speed on a single page, an AI model will definitely identify you again, even if you clear your cookies, even if you use incognito mode, even if you connect through a VPN. Trackers are no longer looking at your software. They are looking at your physical muscle memory. Here is exactly how behavioral biometrics work, and how to poison their data. Typically, you know that one friend who buys a VPN subscription and suddenly becomes a cybersecurity expert. You've probably heard something like this. Bro, nobody can track me now. I'm invisible online. The government can't see me. The hackers can't find me. Look, VPNs are useful. They hide your IP address and encrypt your internet traffic. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Modern tracking systems increasingly don't care about your IP address. In fact, some systems can identify you based on something much harder to change, your behavior. Typically the way you type, the way you move your mouse, the way you scroll, the way you browse websites. And before you dismiss this as some conspiracy theory, many of these techniques are already used by fraud detection companies, security platforms, advertisers, and large technology firms. So today, we're going to explore the world of AI behavioral tracking, understand how it works, why VPNs can't stop it, and why your online habits might be revealing more about you than you think. Years ago, online tracking was relatively simple. Websites stored cookies in your browser. Advertisers tracked your IP address. If you deleted cookies or changed your IP, tracking became much harder. But companies quickly ran into a problem. People started using privacy tools. People cleared cookies. People switched devices. People used VPNs. The old methods became less reliable. So instead of tracking devices, many systems started tracking people. Or more specifically, they started tracking the patterns people leave behind. Typically, the first major tracking method is browser fingerprinting. Imagine I ask you a few questions. What browser are you using? What's your screen resolution? Which operating system do you have? What language is installed? What's your time zone? What fonts are available on your computer? Each question seems harmless by itself, but together they begin forming a profile. Think of it like describing someone to a sketch artist. If I say male, that doesn't narrow things down very much. Then I add glasses, a beard, a blue jacket, a scar above the eyebrow. Suddenly, the picture becomes much clearer. Browser fingerprinting works exactly like that. Your browser automatically reveals dozens of tiny details every time you visit a website. Typically, your screen size, your browser version, your operating system, your language settings, your installed fonts, your graphics capabilities, your hardware characteristics. None of these details identifies you individually. But when combined, they can create a surprisingly unique fingerprint. It's like your browser accidentally introducing itself everywhere it goes. Hello, I'm Chrome version this, running on Windows that. With these fonts, this screen size, and these settings, the more unique your setup becomes, the easier it is to recognize. And here's the important part. A VPN changes your IP address. It does not change most of your browser fingerprint. So while your location appears different, your browser still looks remarkably familiar. Next, let's move into something much stranger. Mouse movement tracking. At first, this sounds ridiculous. Who would track how someone moves a mouse? But think about it. Nobody uses a mouse exactly the same way. Some people move directly toward buttons with incredible precision. Click, done. Others move their cursor like they're looking for buried treasure circles. Loops, tiny corrections, random detours. You probably know which category you belong to, and now you're probably moving your mouse around and becoming self-conscious about it. Typically, modern systems can measure cursor speed, acceleration, movement paths, hesitation before clicks, click timing, and interaction patterns. Over time, these behaviors become surprisingly consistent. Think about your signature. You never sign your name exactly the same way twice. But it's similar enough that people can recognize it. Mouse movements work similarly. AI doesn't need perfection. It only needs patterns. If your mouse behavior looks similar every time you visit, that becomes another piece of your behavioral identity. And once again, your VPN doesn't change how you move your mouse. Now let's talk about one of the most fascinating tracking methods, typing biometrics. Let's say 10 people type the exact same sentence, for example. I love technology. The final text is identical, but the way each person typed it is completely different. Some people type incredibly fast, some type slowly, Some hesitate before certain words. Some constantly hit backspace because they don't trust themselves. You know the type. Their keyboard sounds like a machine gun followed by an emergency backspace operation. Typing Biometrics analyzes things like typing speed, time between keystrokes, typing rhythm, error frequency, correction habits, and keyhold duration. These tiny differences create a behavioral signature, and surprisingly, that signature can be quite distinctive. This isn't just theoretical. Many banks and fraud detection systems already use behavioral analysis. Imagine somebody logs into your bank account. The password is correct. The device looks normal, but the typing behavior is completely different from your usual pattern. That immediately raises suspicion. The technology has legitimate security uses, but it also demonstrates an important point. Your behavior itself can become an identifier, typically even when traditional identifiers are gone. Let's talk about something almost nobody considers. Scrolling. Seriously, how do you scroll through content? Most people have absolutely no idea. Some people read every line carefully. Some scan headlines. Some move slowly. Others scroll at the speed of light and somehow still claim they read everything. Then there are the people who scroll straight to the comments section. You know who you are. Websites can observe how fast you scroll, where you pause, how long you spend reading sections, how often you move back up, and how deeply you engage with content. By itself, scrolling behavior probably won't identify you. But remember, that's not the goal. The goal is to combine many small signals together. Think of each signal as one puzzle piece. One piece doesn't reveal much. 100 pieces start revealing a picture. And AI is extremely good at assembling those puzzle pieces. Now we reach the part where AI becomes especially powerful. Cross-site identity matching. Imagine website A notices your browser fingerprint. It also sees your typing behavior. It sees your scrolling patterns. Website B sees similar signals. Website C sees similar signals. Typically individually, none of these websites know exactly who you are, but AI excels at pattern recognition. It starts connecting dots. This browser looks familiar. This typing style looks familiar. These interaction patterns look familiar. The system may conclude that all these sessions likely belong to the same person, not because it knows your name, not because it knows your address, but because your behavior is consistent. This is where many people misunderstand privacy. They think anonymity is only about hiding identity. Modern systems increasingly focus on recognizing patterns, and patterns are often much harder to hide. Now, before someone throws their router out the window after hearing all this, let's add some important context. Not every website is running a sophisticated behavioral surveillance operation. Most websites are simply trying to function normally. Many of these technologies are heavily used in fraud prevention and security systems. So, does this mean VPNs are useless? Absolutely not. VPNs still provide valuable privacy benefits. They hide your IP address. They protect your traffic from local network monitoring. They help prevent certain forms of tracking, but they are not magic invisibility cloaks. Buying a VPN and expecting complete anonymity is like installing a strong front door lock and assuming your house no longer has windows. The lock still helps. It's just not the entire security system. So how do you actually fight back and poison this data? Let's talk about how to actually spoof your behavioral metrics. If you've learned something new so far, drop a like and subscribe. Now let's continue to prevent behavioral biometrics tracking. You cannot simply hide. You have to inject noise into your behavioral profile to render the AI's pattern recognition useless. To defeat browser fingerprinting, use tools like Canvas Blocker or privacy-hardened browsers like LibreWolf that randomize your Canvas API and WebGL data every time a page loads. This makes your browser look like a completely new machine on every single refresh. To spoof typing biometrics, you must destroy your unique typing rhythm. Use browser extensions like Keyboard Privacy, which intercepts your keystrokes at the machine level and introduces random, microscopic delays before sending them to the website. To break mouse tracking, you can use dedicated spoofing scripts via extension managers like TamperMonkey to actively randomize cursor coordinates, smooth out your acceleration metrics, and strip away your unique physical hesitations. Real privacy today requires layers of tracking protection, randomized data injection, and isolated browsing habits. You can change your IP address in seconds, but you take your habits with you everywhere. Typically, if you do not actively mask them, AI will always find you. if you found this video useful. Leaving a like and sharing it helps this information reach people who need it. Subscribe to keep up with future tech and privacy breakdowns. And thanks for watching.